Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the Canadian National Rail line through Baraga, Michigan. Baraga is a very small town on the shore of Lake Superior in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The tracks through Baraga are under a discontinuance status and have not been used in over 6 years. There are no more active rail customers in Baraga, and CN will most likely be looking to abandon this segment of the line in the coming years. Since the status took effect, this portion of the line has sat becoming overgrown by weeds, so now's the perfect time in June of 2025 to go and see what's it like. For some background information, this line was formerly owned and operated by the Soo Line, then transferred to the Wisconsin Central. In 2001, CN took over and didn't actually end up using the track through Baraga for very long. We will be starting our journey in the neighboring town of Lance across the bay from Baraga. This is where the last active portion of this line that CN still uses is located. We will be making our way north from Lance to the end of track as it stands today, just north of Baraga. So here we are at the west end of the siding in Lance. This section does get used occasionally to switch out cars from the two industries located here. And we look north towards Baraga and south towards Lance. And we see the curve curving around down into the swamp. Next, we pass the swamp and we are out into the campground area between Lance and Baraga. This part of the line is now under the discontinuance status as of 2019. And at the pedestrian crossing at the campground, we see the curve heading towards Baraga. And we look south back into the swamp between Lance and Baraga. Superior Street, the last crossing on the line after Lance to have electronic grade crossing protection. Looking north into Baraga, and we look south towards the swamp. And we'll continue into town. Now we are at 3rd Street, approaching Baraga. The signs of neglect are apparent now. Here we look south towards Superior Street. And north towards the end of the line. The next street is Railroad Street and milepost 223. The station sign is still here. And now we are next to the grocery store, which actually used to have a siding next to it. Crossing State Avenue, the tracks begin to get a little buried in the ground. Looking north towards the end of the line. Now we are at Michigan Avenue. And looking north past the famous casino sign. And we cut around the remainder of the track between the end of the line and Michigan Avenue. Coming down to Spruce Street. And we look south towards Michigan Avenue. And looking towards the end of the track, further down. And now we are positioned next to the only switch and siding remaining, which goes to an industry no longer served. And this is Superior Street again, this time north end. And milepost 224. And down there is the end of the line. And here we are at the end of the line. The rail's just dead end here. There actually used to be an end of track marker, but it looks as though someone stole it. So that's all that's left for Baraga. Who knows what the future will bring, but I'm fairly certain we won't see reactivation of the line. It will either continue to get more overgrown, or eventually it will just be ripped up and become a trail like the rest of its right-of-way up on the way to Houghton. It's sad to see lines like this fall into disrepair, but, well, what can you do, really? That's all for this one. Remember to subscribe if you enjoyed. It really helps a lot. And be sure to check out the channel page for more videos like this. I have a couple now. So, that's it. See you later.